So moving over here, this is some Ajuga chocolate chip, and it's just covered with these beautiful purple flowers. I've got some stepping stones there. And if you're looking for a really nice ground cover, you know, chocolate chip is great because, you know, that's about as tall as it gets. For 2 to 3 weeks in the spring, it's gonna have those beautiful blooms, and then it's got a nice dark foliage, which is very nice to look at through the season as well. And then we've got some daylilies mixed in there. I believe that's Happy Returns, which is an ever-blooming daylily, and that's gonna have some nice yellow flowers. Now behind our chocolate chip, I've got some Itea here. And Itea is what I'm gonna call an underused shrub, and it's gonna be covered in bottlebrush white flowers. Let's see, it's May now, so we're a little bit late this year. Usually it's gonna be like late May to early June. And if you ever grow Itea, I mean, just part of life with plants like Itea, and another one is Leucothoe, is you get, you know, a fairly significant winter dieback, you know, at least here where we're growing. So at some point I really should get through and cut off some of this dieback. And there's nothing wrong with the plant, it's just one of the things it does. I did lose my butterfly bush last year, which is a bit of a surprise. I cut it back very heavily about 2 years ago, and it never really recovered from that. And if you're ever growing butterfly bushes, the one thing I really recommend with them is don't cut them back really heavy at the end of the season. I wouldn't cut them back to less than about 5 feet. And if you need to make them smaller, wait for the spring, and once you see new growth coming, then you can take them back smaller and let that new growth fill out. And then right here is a crabapple. And I'm not a huge fan of crabapples. This one came with the house. There's usually a lot of issues with leaf drop. But I gotta say, every year when this crabapple comes into to bloom, it is just absolutely gorgeous to look at. And this guy here basically restores my faith in crabapples, and you can see it's, I wish I got it when it was in bloom. It was just a very busy period there. So moving back, this is Dwarf Goat's beard, and I can't think of the name. I know Aruncus is the scientific name, but this is some Dwarf Goat's beard. Very reliable perennial. It's going to have some upright flowers. These are last year's flowers. That's what the flowers would look like. And that's another really nice, manageable perennial. It's not going to take over. I mean, these have been here for probably 8 years, and they're looking great. And then here's our Meadow Rue, which I have yet to prune back as well. And you can see we've got our new growth coming, and I'm actually holding the camera, and this is about 7.5 feet off the ground. There's last year's flower stalks. And here's some nice Spirea, and I believe this is Magic Carpet, and I really like Magic Carpet's one of my go-to Spireas because look at that really nice, the new foliage has that really nice reddish color to it, and then you've got the yellow there, and it's going to have beautiful pink flowers as well, you know. So it's a beautiful shrub, and really it's not evergreen, so it's going to just be a bunch of sticks over the winter, but it certainly lights up the summer garden. Great choice for the shrub border, or if you've got some evergreens in your foundation planting and want to put something in front, why not Magic Carpet? And I just want to kind of pan the backyard a little bit for you here. Just take a look around at how nice that shade is. And you know, right here, you know, when we bought the house, and many years ago, before we bought the house, somebody had the foresight to plant these beautiful sugar maples. And whenever you're planting landscapes or you're considering cutting down a tree, you know, you have to cut down sick trees, you have to cut down hazardous trees. But if you can leave a tree that's going to be higher limbed and give you good shade, it's just such a pleasure, you know, to be out in the yard with a nice high limbed trees. So, I mean, just take a look at the shade. I see so many new construction houses where you literally just bake when you're out there. And the first thing I like to do if I'm working at new construction is figure out where I could go ahead and put some nice trees for some shade. And then right here we've got our Lamium, dead nettle, that's in bloom. Nice little perennial. I'm having a hard time remembering the name of this guy. Maybe I'll put it later in the video. Very reliable performer. Does great in dry conditions. Here we are, we're in dry shade. We're about 12 feet away from the maple trees. And then this here, this is Cimicifuga, which is a late summer bloomer. It gets about 4 feet tall. And that's another, you know, stalwart in my landscapes. It's very easy to grow. It doesn't take over gardens, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And you know, that's the key to good landscaping, right? Easy to take care of, doesn't take over gardens, gorgeous. If it could be that easy. And then here's some more Lenten rose for you. And then I've got a volunteer over here. This is actually a Meadow Rue that volunteered. I'll have to move this somewhere else in the yard. And then there's, you know, when I talk about landscaping, I recommend my customers find some garden statuary that makes the garden their own. And I'm into chickens, I'm into pigs, so that's how I claim my garden, is with my chicken and pig figurines. And I bought these on my honeymoon. There's a little tidbit for you.